Okay, you want to get in there.
Yep.
New number.
Number?
Yep, I knew it. 821-375-211. You give that to Saba.
Okay, Jeff, you got to on the phone now. Want to shut down the door?
When you go out back, make sure you shut the door.
You're going to watch the thing?
Unless she wants to watch it, that's fine. Hi, Jill. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay. Sorry about the mix-up on the number. For some reason, they keep changing them on me, so I don't know. I'll get down to the bottom of it. Probably
Figure it out.
Figure it out when it's too late.
Yeah.
I know this is our last call, so, and anybody, I really would love to, if you need help, I'd figure out a day and time where you and I could talk, and I want to continue with you if you want to. So it's just up to you. You think about it.
Yeah, I would like to for sure, because I have a few questions.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to like listen tonight, and then I have a meeting with Holly in an hour.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. So I'm like, let me see if there's enough time and conversation.
Well, no, I'm just talking about like next week when things
Yeah.
boil down and all that. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
because I know as you grow your business, there are things that just come up.
Yeah.
I want you to be able to, I mean, you can always call me or call Holly or whatever, but if, especially since you're on my down, you know, we're on the same downline, so which is kind of cool.
Well, I set up with Holly just because I'm joining in that group she's running for September.
Oh, good.
So I just had questions about that.
Okay.
Like how she does it and how that works and stuff.
Well, she's a good person, a go-to person to find, you know, to ask, I'm saying it over and over, sorry, about a lot of things. Because obviously she's been doing this longer than I have.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we all have different takes on things, you know, and how it works. But definitely, yeah, I know I have one coming, opening up on the 7th.
Oh, okay.
Next month,
Hi,
yeah,
George.
too. Oh, there.
Hi, Jill.
Yeah, we've got our granddaughter here today,
Oh,
so I'm hoping she will leave the TV down. I wonder where everybody else is. My gosh, this is silly. That's okay. I mean, this is going to be, tonight was just going to be what you felt like you learned from the group. And last week, I know you didn't get a chance to hear, but last week we talked about if there was one thing that would change your business, like turn it on its heel, turn its axle, where it would really just make everything pop, what would that be? And I was going to ask people, well, what was that? But I can ask George. So, honey, what do you think that we learned in the last week, especially with some of the calls that listen to. Holly had a really good one Sunday morning, which was
Yeah.
fantastic. Did you hear that one? Or did you? Yeah, that was great with Ellen Delaware. I know her. She is all heart, that kid. She's wonderful, without a doubt. Okay, I'll shut up, honey, so you can say what you were going to say.
No problem. It has to do with, in fact, what for this whole time, and then what Ellen brought up is the pivoting point or turning point.
There you
And
go.
I think the turning point for me was finally getting down to brass tacks and getting serious about the inviting and reaching out to people. And it just started me on a list because I've got a lot of prospects from real estate,
Oh, cool.
renters and things like that I haven't used for years.
Mm.
And when I say years, like 2 or 3 years, people have come and gone throughout my life on that time. So what I did is I took that stack of papers that I've been looking at for these 2 or 3 years and
Believe me,
started
this
going
is
through them. There are literally probably 7 or 8 stacks that are at 2 feet high each. And I've got them all over the office, my home office out here, at work, in my car. They're in the trunk. So I got, they're in the garage too. I just thought of that. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to start with this and reach out to these people with a post, and then just see where they're at. Because you don't know, even though I haven't spoken to them for a while, I have no idea where they are physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or any of those. And so by reaching out, then I started putting some contact to it and some content to it. And then today I made another post. And in the subject line, yep, you'll get it because I sent it to you.
Okay.
And I just put on the subject, and it has to do with what Ellen said on the call on Sunday. And my subject line says R, the letter R, U, capitalized, imprisoned. And then when you read that subject line, imprisoned about what, and then when you click on the to read the email, it says about your current situation or condition.
Mm.
And then I said, if you are financially imprisoned, if you are physically imprisoned, if you're stressed out, if you're emotionally, mentally, physically are stressed, I said because of everyday life, then it's time to break out. So I said, and break out, it says, give me 30 seconds of your precious time, and I'll share with you what I mean. And so it was it's short, sweet, and simple. And if they don't want to read it, they don't have to. But at least it's that reaching out is what I was trying to do with it. So I sent about, I think 12 about 3 days ago, 10, another 15 yesterday, and I think I sent 18 today.
Wow.
So I've been, like I said, it's been really, really on my mind. And now I'll be quiet.
No, that's
Okay, but so my question is, with those emails, have you gotten, like the ones you sent from a couple days ago, have you gotten any responses?
No responses yet, but at least it's the fact of just putting. It's like sending an invite on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who's going to get it. Luckily, I have their email. So, and I think out of all those emails, believe it or not, even years later, I have about 40, 50, maybe 60 emails I've sent. I've only had 6 that came back bad or that no longer. So I thought, my God, that's 90% of the emails that are still good.
Yeah.
So, and people, they don't all, like I'm in and out of my emails 20, 30 times a day.
Right.
And I have 2 emails.
Yeah,
I
me
have
too.
one specifically for my real estate, which is my live. And now what I've done is and over time, I'm using my Gmail for all of my Beachbody stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I'm segregating the 2.
It's important that you use your Gmail because you can tell when that people have opened that and that's important when our stuff is. So yeah, Holly was telling me that on Sunday afternoon. So you can tell if it's been opened and you can also tell if it's been clicked on. And so with Gmail, so you should always use Gmail for Beachbody because we have such time sensitive stuff, like like these challenge groups that are coming up, And I wanted to ask you, Jill, oh, is that Angela?
Yes.
Hi. Hi, welcome. I'm sorry about the confusion on the numbers. They changed on me. I went down and they changed on me, so sorry about that. But Jill, I was wondering, how many Success Club points do you have right now?
10 or 12.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That is fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bravo, without a doubt, because those things are like diamonds.
Well, I started off the month with, it's all just been my warm market family friends. Hi, cute girl. Your granddaughter's in the room.
Is she? There she comes. Hi, you can stay.
So started with that, and then I've had all summer a free group on Facebook for clean eating. And so once I confirmed with Holly that I could do the challenge group with her in September, I made this big announcement, posted a couple days beforehand, big news is coming, make sure you tune in, I'm coming live. And so then from that, some people from that group are going to join that challenge, the September challenge. And I just told them, you have to commit to Shakeology. And 2 of the girls are actually drink Arbonne. And so I just said, I'm just going to challenge you to drink Shakeology for a month and see the difference. And, I'll give you a little tip that if you put it on auto ship, because they already have BOD, I was like, if you put Shakeology on auto ship, you'll save money on shipping. And I said, but then the next shipment comes, so can you cancel? But I don't think you're going to want to cancel because you're going to see a difference of Arbonne versus Shakeology. So 2 committed from that. And then I've just been, when people comment on my Instagram stories or my posts about, any of my sweaty selfies or my workout stuff, I've just been trying to be better at following with them, and every couple of days, hey, how are you? And what's going on with this? Or, you were doing the workouts because you have the DVDs. Have you thought about BOD? And one girl last night was I'm thinking about Whole30. And I was like, dude, more power to you, because I read that book and I can't commit to that. I know I can't. I'm an 80-20 girl. This, 80% of the time I eat healthy and clean, and 20% I can kind of eat whatever I want. And I drink Shakeology every day to make up for that 20%. And she was like, oh, that's kind of a good idea. Yeah, maybe I do want to do your challenge. So I've just been trying to follow up a little bit more with stuff like that.
You are on fire, girl. Without a doubt. You're headed in the right direction.
I'm just having a hard time with the cold market. People, I hashtag all my stuff about being a teacher or special education teacher, and I'll get all these likes, and then I try to message them, and I just have a hard time either not even getting a response, hey, love connecting with other teachers and seeing what you're doing. Thank you so much for, whatever. And then either get no response, or we may go back and forth, and I'm I don't know how to turn the conversation to fitness, from teaching to fitness. So where are you at in your health? I can't make that.
That is something that it's always going to take longer with your cold market. It isn't something that you can just automatically do. And I know people say that you've got to make 3 or 4 or 5 different connections, or soft touches is what real estate talks about. But I can guarantee if you can get somebody to, and it isn't going to be all the time, but if you can get somebody after 12 touches to switch, you've got to be really patient, because you'll know within your gut when it's right to say something.
Okay.
You really will. And you know what? It's okay to be friends with somebody. I mean, I've had people I was friends with for 6 months before they actually were ready. And it's not that I'm chicken about asking, because I'm not. It's just that I can tell from the vibes, and you'll get that way too as you continue to prospect. I can tell with the vibes when they're going to be ready.
Yeah.
Truly going to say, hey, well, you know what? Just like your people that you were talking about, the ones that are on Arbonne, because I used to sell Arbonne. And when they brought out their products, didn't have, as far as their drinks and stuff, I didn't even look at it because I knew Beachbody, because at that point I was doing Shakeology. And I'm like, no, I know this. There's nothing better than Shakeology. There just can't be. There just can't be. And anybody who thinks there is, they're going to be very, very disappointed. They're going to throw their money down the toilet as far as buying something from Arbonne or wherever else they're not going to, do their thing. So, yeah, you're doing fantastic, Jill. I'm really proud of you. You have advanced. Just in the short month, you have advanced so far. I'm real proud of you, without a doubt. I wish I could say I had 12. I don't. I have 2. 2 points. But it's okay because there's a lot of other things I've learned along the way. And if I can help someone with the mistakes I've made, and believe me, I've been doing this a while, that's what it's all about, helping somebody else, without a doubt. So, Angela, how many points do you have, or do you have anything? Thank you for taking yourself off mute. Do you have anything you'd like to contribute of, like, what you have really learned over this past this cup? Because this is our last one, and I would love to talk to you later if you want. I don't want this to end, but unfortunately, it has to come to an end so we can go on and for bigger and better things. So.
I'm only at 2.
Me
I
too.
thought it would have been at 4. Gosh, when did I had someone say that, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then didn't pull the trigger, and then she still says she wants to do it, but then it became like oh, well, maybe I'll start after Labor Day, and like, at first she's like, yeah, and then, then, so I was almost to 5, I wanted to get to that 5, and I thought, okay, if worst comes to worst, I'm going to hit my mom up to get that last, to get me there after she did, and she fell through.
Well, one thing Holly wanted me to say to you guys tonight, because I talked to her a little bit, and there is a call that talks about, and I know we only have 2 days left, I think, right? 2 days left. There is a call that in 3 days you can get to Success Club 5. You might have already heard it. I haven't. So I'm definitely going to listen to it. Last night this whole week I've been jamming, without a doubt, and I've gotten a lot of calls back, but my phone I bought a new phone, or George got me a new phone, and it keeps telling me that because they don't recognize it, they only want to put it in spam or tell me that it's fraudulent. So I'm afraid to call back. But that's just one thing that happens. So, but push. I mean, if you guys remember the very first meeting we had, the very first thing I said is go ahead and do that 30 calls a day. And there was different things that you could like get checking, like Jill said, like checking off, like talking to the people, liking their emails or the Instagram or whatever it might be. There's so many of those, and there's a whole bunch. I don't want to go back into it because I know you guys already heard it, but it's not impossible, and you can do them very quickly. So, but you got to track it. Make sure you're tracking it. So what you're doing. So, and I mean, it's only 2 more days, man. Let's push it. Let's put the pedal to the metal and get there. I mean, we both only need 3 more. We should be able to get 3 more Success Club points to make it a 5. So we'll see. One of the things I'm going to turn over to my hubby about, he and I were talking about the 80-20 rule. And he's great with numbers. Somebody throws numbers at me, I don't understand what the heck they're talking about. So, but the 80-20 rule, as far as what we need to do to get those people to say yes. And I don't know, did I confuse you, dear? Because you've got a really confused look on your face. The 80-20 rule. What do you think? What do you think that Ellen was talking about?
Okay, on the 80-20 rule, the way that she was talking about it, which just, and I explained to her, and I think Jill, you guys might have been on the call, I don't know, but I have heard that 80-20 rule. I've read the 80-20 rule. I heard it from Shalene, from Christine Dreyer, heard it from Holly, and it all made sense. I don't know what twist that Ellen put on it, but she just put it on in a way that it went bing. I go, 80% of my time has to be inviting. It just has to be. I mean, she was thrown an obstacle when she had very poor internet at home. So what'd she do? She didn't, kick the cat or the dog or anything else. She got in her car and she went down to Starbucks. She found a way to continue with the 80-20, which is 80% inviting, 80% prospecting. That 80-20 rule, and I didn't even think about it, Jill, until you said it. 80% your eating plan, 80% eating right, and 20% on eating what you want. You're right, because on the 80% of doing it right, you stay in check. If that was reversed, where it was 20% eating healthy and 80% doing what you want, what happens. We all do. And same thing with farmers. I got to thinking about the 80-20 rule on different aspects. The one that hits me is the farmer. If he plants 100% of the time, but what if he had the 80-20 rule and only planted 20% of the seeds 20% of the time? What would happen? We would run out of food, So it's like they are actually planting, and that's where I got the 80-20 and the idea of we need to prospect, which in real estate I use the 80-20 rule now for I need to prospect 80% of the time, instead of 20% or less. And there have been days that I haven't. And the fact is, like Austin, one of the he's a coach under Keith, I think. He said something weeks ago, maybe been a couple months ago, and I asked him. I said, "How do you stay focused? How do you keep doing what you want to do when you don't feel like doing it, like in exercising?" And his trainer, he had a trainer from a while back, and his trainer said, "Look, there were times I did not want to exercise, but what I did was I dressed up, I showed up. Might not have done anything, but showed up." And I go, "Hey, that's a good deal." So now I'm doing my push-ups back again. Started where I was doing really good every morning, and what kept coming back to me is showing up. But the other thing that kept coming is the 80% rule. At least if I do my push-ups, I'm doing 80% of what I need to do physically to stay at least somewhat in shape. And so the 80-20 rule can be applied to a lot of things. And I apply it to the real estate. I apply it to, like Jill now, I'm going to apply it to my eating. I go, oh, okay, I got to stay in check with that one. So it makes a lot of sense. So the 80-20 rule, keep inviting. Just invite. If it's 80% of talking, talk to people. And it's like today I was talking to a past client of ours in real estate. And I just told him, I said, hey, I said, I haven't talked to you about this before, but I'm going to talk to you about it now. And so I shared it with a current client of ours, and he was interested. So it's just a fact of, and I've known this guy for 15 to 17 years, and I've never brought it up. He lives in a different state. So, and different state means nothing. In fact, different country now means nothing. We got Canada, and here comes the UK around the corner. So always on the 80-20, I've just got to tell you, just think about the 80-20 rule on everything you do.
The thing I got out of the 80-20 that what Ellen was talking about is that you need to be doing your job as far as Beachbody is concerned and talking to people, and you should be uncomfortable 80% of the time. Uncomfortable talking to those people, no matter who it is. And and I know there's an old adage that we go by as far as real estate is concerned. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yep.
And if you can, I would rather apologize to somebody because I've offended them and ask them than not say anything at all. So we've got to open up our mouths, and we've got to tell people, I don't want to hurt your feelings. There's a adage that there in the Bible that talks about you. It's better to offend someone so that they'll be helped down the line. And I know I'm butchering this really bad, but what that means to me is I would rather offend someone and apologize later and reconnect with that person than not say anything because they never ever heard it before. And there's a lot of people out there. I mean, we're not going to run out of people, without a doubt. We're just not going to run out of people. So, Jill, what else do you think contributed to your getting the 12 Success Club points?
Honestly, I think just the fact that I just talk about it a lot. I mean, at this point, it all is just the majority of the people is warm market, like my brother-in-law, my sister. My brother-in-law signed up for shakes every day. My sister had been doing other workouts, other programs, and then finally she just called me one night and said, "This isn't consistent. It doesn't work. I need something more consistent. Just sign me up." My other sister-in-law and her husband said the exact same thing. Like, we need to do something. We don't have time to go to the gym. We know you do this. We know you love it. We know, my husband is a product of the product. He's lost over 35 pounds from when he first started. And people just ask, and I just am like, I just talk about it because I like it. And I wouldn't, I was even talking to one of my classroom assistants today to say, like, I wouldn't do anything every single day for 4 years unless I liked it. Like, there's very few things I do every single day, and drinking a shake and working out is one of them because I've learned to love it, and so I think that's kind of where it just come from, of that it's just something that I enjoy and people take notice. And for me, having a bachelor's degree in public health, it's obviously always kind of been a passion of mine of people need to be healthy. So I think it's just from me talking about it. And I think over the course of this month, from listening to different trainings about using social media, I've just gotten more comfortable posting live videos, doing live videos in my Facebook group, or not just posting the sweaty selfie, but talking about other things on my Instagram story and making it a story. So I think that kind of stuff has helped. And honestly, part of it has just been me saying, okay, I'm going to be brave and practice vital behaviors, which I never had done before, of reaching out and talking to people and saying, hey, I have this group coming up and you've mentioned this before. And, how's it doing by yourself? You want some accountability? You want some encouragement? Do you want a cheerleader? Like, I'm here, so that's kind of, I think, has definitely helped for sure. Yeah.
You know what? You come across on the screen so real and transparent.
Oh,
and with that,
I don't do fluff very well. I'm not a fluffy person.
That's okay. That's okay. Because that you are exactly what people are looking for.
Yeah. And my sister-in-law says, thanks for nagging me. I mean, encouraging me. And I'm like, you know that I have always just been a truth teller. Like, I can't do anything otherwise. I'm just a truth teller. So whether it comes to where you're at in your faith and that you better get on your knees and pray, or you need to, hand that over to Jesus, or you need to get off your knees and go run some laps. Like, I'm just a truth teller. So sometimes it's a fault, but I try.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I really do. Because you totally just, you're real and transparent, and people need more and more of that because they know they can trust you.
Right.
I know when George speaks, he very often, I've had people tell me that he speaks with integrity, and we need that today because we're lied to all over the map.
Right.
We're totally lied to. Yeah. People don't care. They will lie, and they will lie just to get the sale.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that George told me a long time ago, if when you're talking to somebody, if they can see the dollar signs on your forehead, believe me, you're not going to get that sale. You're not going to get that sale.
Yeah.
No matter how much your intentions are good,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You're not going to get that sale because people can read it.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm just really happy that you did this, and I can't wait to hear about what your challenge group is going to do. That's really cool. You're going with Holly. I'd like to hear from you. I don't want to have to.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Excited. People are excited. Like, I'm doing it with my mentor coach, and they're like, yay. And I'm like,
yeah.
you know, like, and I've just been honest, like, hey, I'm new at this and I'm learning. So
Good.
I'm pairing up with her, and we're going to get more information, and it's going to be more awesome. And so.
Well, you're going to learn exactly what you need to do to become that.
And I got to pass the buck and say, she requires that you have Shakeology.
I love it.
It wasn't me saying I require it. It was, well, she requires that challenges do this. And so it got me 3 orders.
That's good. That's good. And she does, because she's done everything. She's given things away. She's done everything she possibly can do. Daphne, no. She's done everything to try to get people to do certain things. And if there's no money, if they don't have it in their pocketbook, they're not going to stick with it. It just doesn't work.
Right.
I mean, you always want to have a free group going so that you've got somebody to communicate with, which is fine. But don't count on anybody doing anything in the group. Not till they take that step and say, okay, wait a minute. You know, these people over here are getting all these results because they're using Shakeology.
Right.
And I'm not using Shakeology. Gee, what's wrong? Well, obviously you know what's wrong.
Yeah.
You've got to have the whole pie. You just have to have the whole pie.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to cut tonight short. I wanted to say accolades. Unfortunately, Angela looks like she left us. So I don't know if you had any other questions or something else you wanted to say, because this is our last one, unless Holly drags me kicking and screaming again to do another one. Be careful, she'll get you.
Well, thank you.
It's a good
Thank you for
thing.
your support, and I'll for sure stay in touch, because I'm sure I'll have questions soon. And you know, it's nice to just bounce ideas or have some encouragement, and that, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, and one of the things I have found over the years that I've been helping people get to Diamond is the fact that sometimes just role playing with someone else that you wouldn't know. Obviously, you can't role play with your husband. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. They get a little offensive. Sorry, dear. But anyway, but you can bounce it off like you and I once, and at least practice what you're going to say to somebody. Now, okay. I think you've got that down, but believe me, somewhere along the line, there'll come up something, this roadblock. You're like, what do I say to this person?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So,
yeah, that would be good practice.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, good practice, and also the objections. Work on those. Just keep working on those without a doubt. Although I think you're doing great. George, do you have anything else that I didn't want to cut you off, dear?
No, that's fine. No, I don't have anything else to say other than we still have 1.5 nights. Okay,
exactly.
The rest of tonight and all day tomorrow and tomorrow night in between recesses or breaks or whatever. So
yeah,
I plan on being 5 without a doubt.
I've got some people to follow up with, and then part of me is kind of like, well, obviously getting more points this month is awesome, but even if they wait to sign up till like Friday, then like sweet. I'm just going to keep following up, because then it'll give me all my points for September.
That is perfect. You know, one thing you need to always know, you don't want to go backwards ever.
Right.
Get this momentum that you've got.
No, I feel it.
Momentum. Keep pushing it up the mountain.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have to start over again.
Yeah. No, I feel it for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a blessed night. I look
You
forward
too.
to the call from you calling me. That would be great, or
Yeah.
whenever we can make, get together.
Okay.
You're in Lancaster, right?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, you are in Lancaster. Holly's doing a Super Saturday on the 16th at her house.
Oh,
Love it if you could make it. I'm inviting you to, no, I know she'll invite you too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, do it if you can.
Okay. I'll check her
It's really
schedule.
cool. Bring your
Okay.
bathing suit.
Oh.
She's got a big pool.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, George.
All right. All right.
Bye-bye, Jill.
Bye-bye.
Take
Bye.
care. Have
Have
a
a
great
good
night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Leave the meeting.
I have to go out. Dun, dun.